everyone, welcome to Tianjin University Ambassador Talks. My name is timothyjhutagaol, and I'm an admission promotion ambassador of Tianjin University. And previously, we have discussed about architecture with the current student. Now we are going to discuss the architecture from the alumni of Tianjin University. So we have been accompanied by Tianjin University Master Student Alumni. Please welcome Milica. Hello, Milica.
Hello, hi Timothy. Hi, my name is Milica. I used to study in Tianjin University. I studied architecture. I enrolled in my master's degree program in 2016, and I graduated in 2019. Currently, after working for 2 years in China, in Shanghai, I came back to my hometown. So now I'm currently working for Cook Hafner Architecture Platform here in Belgrade.
Yeah, of course, that's a very good introduction. It's very nice to meet you, and thank you for accepting my invitation today. Today we are going to, discuss about architecture and give insight as well to prospective students or current students about this major as well. So you're from Serbia, and you have, spent your bachelor degree studies back in the Serbia, and I'm actually wondering that why did you decided to your master study you want to go to China to continue your studies?
Yeah, well, actually, I also did my master's degree back in Serbia. So when I was about to graduate back then, I felt like I could still expand my knowledge a little bit before starting to work. So I started looking into scholarships around the world. And at that moment, the Chinese consulate here in Serbia was offering scholarships to my university. And since at the moment I was working as a student associate at the university, I got this offer for the scholarship in China. So we applied for 3 universities. We wrote our CV, our study program, and my study program was what matched the best with Tianjin University, and that's how I chose it in the end.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's a very good opportunity that, you continue your master studies again in China. Have you previously know about like study in China before, or is it like a spur in the moment where, okay, I want to take this chance to go to China?
Well, it was actually a spur in the moment because before that I was thinking about going to work in China after I graduate here in Serbia, and I had a lot of friends from architecture world that did the same. They went to work straight after studies, and I thought this was really kind of cool and exciting. But at the same time, I was really scared to immediately start working after studying and, with the language barrier and everything. So I was thinking maybe doing another master's program in China would slowly introduce me to Chinese culture, to how the architecture works in China, and that it would give me a good background to continue working then. And it really did.
Yeah, of course. That's a good decision for you to come to China. Well, at least that you start a new journey where you haven't known much before, and you start learning the language and then understand the architecture in Tianjin University. And maybe before we continue, if you recall back to before you studied this architecture major, why did you decided to study the major of architecture?
Well, I was always kind of interested in arts, and at the same time, I was interested in maths. So, but I kind of felt if I was studying arts, I wouldn't be contributing to the world enough technically. And if I was studying engineering, I would always feel there is this artistic moment missing, So I kind of discovered that architecture is in a really good intersection of technical and artistic. So that's why I chose it. In the beginning, I didn't really know a lot about architecture. I cannot say that I was in love with architecture since I was a kid, but rather it's something that developed throughout my studies. When I started studying, I started discovering more and more, and gradually I really fell in love with what I do.
Yes, that's very great. And yeah, I think it's a good background and, good interest for you from the start. And yeah, let's go to the main topic today that, when you arrive in Tianjin University, you see the new, first time you go to China. So what is your first impression of Tianjin University?
Well, I was accommodated in the old campus. So of course, my first impression was how beautiful the old campus is. Like once you enter this vast space with all these like university buildings around the main square and around the lake, you really, really feel impressed by it. And then of course, as an architecture student, it's really something we are very proud of. That architecture building is in the center, you know, that it's the main building and the main pride of Tianjin University. So, and it's also, I was even more thrilled when I realized that I was studying in the studio of Professor Peng Gang, who actually designed the whole campus, and he designed the architecture building. So that was my first impression, the huge lake, the big public space in the university, and of course the architecture building, which is just stunningly beautiful. And I also love the sculpture of the girl on the Peiyang Square.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, of course, that makes, you know, online student envy as well. Yeah, if you know, right now we're studying online, so yeah, we did know there's a lot of beautiful places in Tianjin University. Yeah, I think Tianjin University is really beautiful, and yeah, indeed, that's when you arrive there in Tianjin University, do you happen to encounter like language barrier in your daily studies?
In daily studies, no, because the university is very well organized in terms of hiring guest lecturers and guest professors that are coming from all over the world to either lecture or give a speech or organize a workshop. So in that term, whenever it came to studying, we always had our lectures in English language. And every student, once you join university, you get your own daoshe, your own tutor, your own mentor. So mentor usually speaks very good English, and they kind of introduce you in the studio and what the studio is working on, what is the main topic of research, etc. The language barrier you may encounter in bureaucracy, you know, it's always very confusing in the beginning because the studying platforms at the time when I was studying, at least, were all in Chinese. So you would always need assistance from your professor or from your colleagues. And then sometimes in the studio, your classmates, they were either too shy to speak English, or some of them didn't know how to speak English. So it's this language barrier that you might encounter in day-to-day life, but during studies, not really.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, that's normal because, you know, you're right in the new country, and yeah, it's normal that you will face something like that. And for your specific study in architecture, what specific sector in architecture that you mainly focus on?
Well, I'm mostly interested in computational design, and Tianjin University is actually one in the top 3 universities in China in terms of historical studies and the historical buildings, and it has a really good tradition with this. But I was really lucky to get chosen by my tutor, who is also doing research topics in computational design. So he helped me a lot to broaden my topic, especially while writing my thesis. And he was always recommending me nice workshops and nice conferences. And other students in the studio were also interested in computational design. So we kind of had a good flow of knowledge and energy going on. And I was always kind of encouraged to do the research more and more and to study about computational design. So eventually my thesis topic was kind of revolving around computational design. And now, while I'm practicing architecture, this is also something that I'm using in my day-to-day work and life.
I see. Yeah, because, you know, in the previous talk that I have, you know, this person also have some specific sector in architecture, but mainly focus on like designing things for the real construction, like real, you know, in the real workplace or interior design. So you mainly focus on research. In your studies, does the professor make a distinction? For example, is there, in your classmate, do they have a distinction as well where they specific sector that they want to focus to?
Yes. Well, my studio was had, I think, 2 or 3 main research topics.
Yeah.
One of them was computational design, what I was doing in parametric architecture. The
Yeah.
other was educational buildings, designing of university campuses and university buildings. And the third one was nursing homes for elderly people. So these are the main 3 sectors in my studio that were researched on.
Yeah, and do you also participate in like competitions or workshop or seminar?
Yes, definitely. When you're studying architecture, this is kind of a must. It's not only about reading books and drawing and studying. It's also really important to participate in competitions, because competitions are kind of like a brief before you start working. You realize the project needs to have all the drawings, the model, the physical model.
Yeah.
So competitions are really important for architecture students. And then we had a lot of conferences that we could attend. And also we had construction workshops, which for me was the best collaboration that Tianjin University had. We went to 2 villages in 2 years. One was in Wechat province, and another one was in Guangxi province. And we spent a month and a half there building by ourselves, actually, a bookshop and a children's restaurant. So this was really one of the most interesting, most interesting workshops I've ever attended.
Yeah, so it's a real construction that you design and you have to building.
Yes, it's a real construction. You're waking up every day at 6 a.m. You're going to the construction site, rain or shine, and you're there. You're cutting wood, you are digging, you're shoveling, you are assembling the whole building. You just see how it grows, and it's an amazing feeling. I've never had that before.
Yeah, of course, because as I see, in the general website that the student generally get that chance like that, like they go to the village, they go to some areas where there will be need like construction or some research there. And I think it's a good practical experience, and yeah, I think it's a good experience for architecture student as well to get the real view, like this is the reality of working in the real environment. And I'm wondering that how does it feel like that you have to work with people? Like how do you handle like conflicts in design, in conflicts in other areas? How is your experience with that?
Well, I kind of really try not to see it as a conflict, because everyone is an important piece of a puzzle. Architecture is very complex and there are a lot of sides involved. So if you look at it as a conflict, it's really not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
You really need to learn to listen to every person and how they can contribute. Because even though you might think for yourself that you are a really good designer, there is no way that you can grasp the whole picture. And maybe sometimes someone's idea, someone's insight might offer you a better overview of things. It might give you an even better idea. So I think collaboration is something that is really, really important in architecture. You really need to learn to listen, to respect other people's opinions, to work together.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, even if in every major that you're gonna work with some people, I mean, you have to work with them. You have to realize that okay, we should understand their opinion and understand our opinion, and how to collaborate with them. And actually, I recently saw one of your website or portfolio in the website. So when you design that, do you use software to design that?
Yes. Yes, software skill is very important in the world of architecture. The more software you know, or the better you know specific software, it's going to place you on the market better. Yeah. So it's kind of important that you choose wisely the software you study, and that it kind of can be useful for the topics you're interested in. So for example, I'm very much interested in computational design. So for me, the software that I have to be good at and that I want to be good at are Rhinoceros and Grasshopper, which enables you kind of to do a small, easier version of programming for architecture. So you can optimize certain things, so you can automate certain things and make the forms you're designing more complex.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, of course, software's also important for students that wants to, join architecture. Does the professor like recommending which software do you have to use?
Yes, yes. Well, as I mentioned, like my topic was very specific, so you cannot do what I was doing research on with other software. You kind of have to use these software. So in that term, my professor was always encouraging me to study more of this software, to experiment, to practice, and to attend workshops and seminars that have something to do with this software. But for example, if you are, let's say, designing, I don't know, a university campus, then you are more open about choosing your own software. Then there is like, let's say, a variety, 4 or 5 software that could equally do the work. So then it's only to you to choose which one you feel more comfortable with.
Oh,
basically.
I see. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of softwares that out there, but yeah, you have to choose the most specific one. Otherwise, that you might waste your time on wrong software, or professor asks you to change something. And I wonder, in your study experience as well, that I see that you have won one of the outstanding thesis. How do you get that? Like, do they rank you in the scores?
I was not really familiar with the process, how it happened. I just I don't know, I've put really a lot of effort in my thesis topic. I've been writing it for a year and a half, and I made a project for it. And I guess it was I don't know, specific for the context, because I was doing a project for that could tackle pollution in Beijing intersections. So it was kind of like chimney towers, mixed use chimney towers with some kind of system for ventilation that could assist the city in mitigating pollution. So I don't know, I guess the topic was interesting for jury. And I really did a lot of work. I've done a lot of simulations. Like simulations took me months and months of work. Then designing the project and then writing the topic. So I was really, I don't know how it happened, but when I got this news, I was really, really happy that someone recognized the effort and the hard work that I've put in it. And yeah, thank you, Tianjin University.
Yeah, certainly you put a great effort.
Really
and I
amazing.
think, it will be a great impact. Like the impact from your thesis, okay, this could resolve the issues, and that you have graduated and you have spent sometimes work in China. How does it feel like when you finally become an architect?
You realize that after all the hard work you did in university, there is more hard work to do. Actually. The world of architecture is really busy. Is really every day there's some new adventure. Every day there is some new obstacle, and you really need to be hardworking and dedicated with what you're doing. But it was an amazing experience, and I was really happy at that moment when I started working that I chose to do my master's in Tianjin first, and then working, because it really gave me a lot of understanding how the architectural world in China works. What are the working habits, the working ethic, to understand the working culture better, and of course to learn the language, because all the time while studying architecture, also studying Chinese language helped me to understand my colleagues better and to communicate with them better.
Yeah, I see. And when you are working in China, how how do they like do they assign you projects to design, or do they assign you with teams? How does it work when you know already you enter the career?
Well, yeah, you get assigned with a theme. You have your design leader who is kind of in charge of you. You have a project manager. So the design leader and the project manager are organizing most of the work. And in the beginning, you get easier tasks while they figure out what you are good at. Once they figure out what you are good at, that kind of becomes your specialty. So they always give you tasks which relate to what you are good at, and they give you more responsibilities, etc. So
Yes.
you always get assigned with one project or two, because the time doesn't really allow you to do more projects at the same time, especially if projects are really large scaled as in China.
Yes.
So you either do a competition, or once you win the competition, you develop the project further. You enter something that is called SD phase, which is, you know, a step closer to turning your project to reality. And then there's also DD phase, which is like a detailed design phase, where when you start really thinking about how certain details on the building work, and you have to develop them and draw them and really rethink them. So this is the moment we see from early competition stages to practically like pre-construction phase, how your project is growing and developing. And it's really a difficult but a really interesting process.
Oh, yeah, okay. Starting getting new insights that I haven't understood before. And maybe for students that watching this might, you know, imagining things that, yeah, this is the real architect working in the early phase. And as you know, that you are being assigned by your, you know, project manager that you have to do certain projects. At what stage that you can do independent projects, like what you wish you can design?
You can never do independent projects. I mean,
yeah.
You know, remember what I told you about collaboration?
Yeah.
You always need to collaborate. I assume you can do independent projects once, like if you're doing an apartment design or a villa design. But if you want to do large scale projects, you always have to work with the team. You always have to work with the investors, with consultants. You have to listen to your client needs. So basically, you don't really decide that you're going to, for example, design the library. First of all, your client needs to want to design the library. And then they hire you to do that. It's different though if, for example, you like designing certain things like galleries or museums, or you like designing shopping malls. So then when you're applying for a job, you're going to do a thorough research of the companies you're applying for and see if their specialty is in shopping malls or is in galleries and museums. So you by the number of projects. So if most of their projects are museums, then you know this is the right place for you. You say, I really like designing museums, so I would really like to apply for this. Or if you like historical heritage, or, you know, you just have to pick a company, and this company, of course, has to pick you, that will have interests matching, kind of.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so you develop your specialty from the beginning, and that will follow you, right, according to your career, that you can build, let's say, museum, and there will be more offers related to that project.
Yes, kind of, yes. At least that is my experience. Of course, not once you choose to design museums, you're not going to get stuck with only museums your entire life. Of course, you're going to have different projects as well, but this means in your CV, in your portfolio, that this is something you have most experience with, that you have most specialty with.
Oh, okay.
So for example, in my case, it was mixed use projects. It was kind of, you know, like office spaces, shopping malls, and towers. So this is something I started my career with. And then when you apply for a certain job, of course, chances of getting hired in another mixed use design companies are higher than, for example, in heritage, in historical architecture. because you already have a background in this.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, okay. I know I got the idea that I thought that, I mean, I see like famous architecture, right? They're very famous for designing things. I thought that, like they have the reputation to design it by themselves. But in reality that, you have to still working together with others.
Yes, it's usually all these amazing buildings in China that you see.
Yes.
It's all team effort. It's really, really a lot of a really big, for instance, a really big design team. And then you have other consultants like facade consultants, traffic consultants, waste consultants, MEP consultants. It's just, there's so many other engineers, not only architects, that are involved in this. So it's really, really a huge team effort.
Okay, yeah, I got the full point. And yeah, okay, thank you for giving us the insights for this. I mean, really, yeah, maybe many students maybe do not know like what they will facing in the future because they haven't got the experience from, a real architect. And of course, right, that you previously working in China in the pandemic, right? In the pandemic period. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Does it have an effect on your progress on projects?
No, absolutely zero. Maybe there was a small, let's say, setback in first month of pandemic before people got used to working remotely. But then afterwards, you have a really powerful technology. Everyone has a computer at home. Everyone has internet connection. So it's really easy to do the team organization and task organization via, like internet. So yeah, so there is no issue in continuing to work on your project. Of course, economic-wise, the pandemic's impact the market, the construction market. So some of the projects might have been halted due to economical reasons, but luckily our company didn't have to go through that. All the projects that we were working on before the pandemics just continued during the pandemics and then just continued even more after the situation got better in China.
Okay, yeah, I understand. Because pandemic, I mean, if the relation with other sectors may be much more effective. I mean, the architect can work from home, design things and continue the project as usual. And right now that you are in Serbia, do you like seek for new opportunities in your home country?
Actually, I already have a job here in Serbia. I came back from China last August, and I started working in a company in October. And I'm really happy with my current position, and we're really doing some interesting design, and it's kind of a good continuation of my career after working in China. I was actually scared coming back after, because my country is much smaller than China. So I didn't know what kind of opportunities will wait for me. But thankfully, I really found a great opportunity that matches with what I was doing in China. So I can continue building my career in that direction.
Yes, it's good for you because maybe people, like maybe they're seeking for new opportunities or move to another country. They are, anxious for that. But yeah, good for you to have a new career. And yeah, of course. And of course, before we go to the closing part of our talks, would you give like an insight to the prospective students? What kind of opportunities in the career prospects that you can reach in this after graduating from architecture major?
There are really so many things in architecture that you can do. It really depends on what you like doing. You could find a job in interior design. You could find a job in retail design where you are designing flagship stores and showrooms. You can find a career in research. You can do really, really interesting research during your PhD, and afterwards you can teach in universities. You can find a career as a concept designer where you're only developing concepts for buildings, or you can work further in developing these concepts and making actually the building happen. So, and then of course it depends again on the type of buildings that you like doing. Maybe you like doing large scale buildings like towers, airports, convention centers, or you like doing smaller projects like villas or residential buildings or kindergartens and schools. So really the whole spectrum of what you can do as an architect is amazing. And what is great is that if you like, you can also like pick a little bit of this and a little bit of that and try more sectors and then discover what works for you as an architect the best.
I see. Yes, thank you so much for your insights. I mean, the students that watching this have, new perspective on what they think architecture major is and what, the real experience, what you have experienced as well that you have shared with us. And for our final question, of course, would you like give like encouragement and like motivation for current students and prospective students in their study in architecture major?
Definitely. Architecture is a very vibrant job. You really feel your progress every day, but you also need to be ready for a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifices. And you just have to always keep in mind that this is what you chose. This is what you really love, because architecture, you really need to love. You cannot just, as a simple profession, you just say, oh, I just go to job and then I'm done, because it really changes the way you think, because architecture is everywhere around you and you're constantly looking at buildings and discovering something new, and you're learning as you're walking the street. So I think studying architecture is really fun. It's interesting. It's collaborative. You will meet a lot of people. You will work together. You will find some really, really amazing friends, as I did when I was studying in Tianjin University.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a wild ride, but it's a fun one.
Yeah, of course, it's amazing experience and insights that you have given to us. I mean, it's a really new knowledge for me as well, because I have never talked to a real architect before. And
oh, okay. Well,
yeah, I do not know. I do not know how their perspective, like how do they design a building, like how do they work with each other? How is it like the experience when they finally graduate and entering their career? And that's what I got, the initial information from you. And yeah, you are my first Serbian friend, so thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Looking forward to a long friendship.
Yeah, of course. We hope that you have a good success in your career in the future. As right now, like in the difficult period, I hope that you can reach to the peak of your career, what you want to achieve in the future. I hope that you can reach it. And thank you so much, Milica, for this amazing insightful talks. And everyone, that is the insight that you get from the architecture major and how architect experience in their real career. So if you want to pursue architectural major, this is the good starting point for you as a fundamental information. And thank you so much for your attention, for watching this content. And if you like this video, you can like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to ask about Tianjin University admission, you can contact me, and you can contact me in the future if you have any interesting content that you think I should make. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Milica. Thank you, for today. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Good day.